вільної, незалежної України Володимир Зеленський. כבוד נשיא מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו, מר יצחק הרצוג. The President of Germany, the delegations from different countries, the leaders of Jewish organizations and communities, but if you'll go and read in Dante Alighieri or in any other author of Middle Ages about the hell, the Gehinnom, Ad, you'll find nothing like these scenes which happened just here, 6 and then 7 layers of freshly killed people, and some more and more have to lie and will be killed. You will never find such scenes in the literature. So Babyn Yar became the symbol of Holocaust by bullets, of awful crime of Nazi regime. But Babyn Yar at the same time is the symbol of the crime of Soviet communist regime, crime of erasing the memory about the Holocaust, erasing here on the earth, trying to turn this raven into the center of waste waters, and then in the stadium, and then in the park, where people can walk in the morning with the dogs, and erasing it from our history. I was born in 1948 in the city of Donetsk, then Stalino, city which unfortunately is suffering a lot in these days. And it was only a few years after Holocaust. And I'm living among the killing fields of Holocaust and know nothing about it. 2 miles from my home, there was Rikovskaya 4 bis mine. There was a lot of mines around. This one happened not to work already for many years. But it had a big pit, almost 400 meters deep and 15 meters broad. 75,000 people were killed and thrown into this pit. It is the second biggest mass grave after Babyn Yar. 75,000 people, many of them children, were thrown alive and were killed while falling. And I know nothing about it. Not far from this, there is a small town, Artyomovsk. There are no deep mines, but there are adits, Stolnya, horizontal pit. So Germans, Nazi criminals, helped by the local supporters, are bringing hundreds of Jews into it and are sealing it. And people are dying. Some of them are dying in a few hours, some a few days, some a few weeks, but everybody dies. And we play our games about the war. We play our games about victories of Red Army. We are very proud by the medals which our fathers brought from the 4 years of war, and we know nothing about 1.5 million Jews killed. That was the policy of the Soviet Union. And then I remember when finally this word Babyn Yar, which was like a secret samizdat underground word, something awful, when it appeared in the newspaper, and my father, with trembling hands and trembling voice, is reading to me, 13-year-old boy, this poem which we just now heard. And he says, finally we can talk about it. But he was wrong. Next day he started a campaign against this poem. The poet is forced to change the words. And when great composer Shostakovich is writing the music, symphony which we just now heard, it was played only once in Moscow, it was prohibited. And when I'm becoming the activist, human rights activist and Jewish activist in Moscow, I was detained many times. One of my first detained was when I was on my way on the 29th of September. I was on my way to Kyiv, to Babyn Yar. So the question is, why? After all, Soviet Union have won the war against Nazis. Why they're making such a secret? What changed in their policy? And unfortunately, we checked it again and again and sent historians and looked at the archives, what happened between 44 and 47. And the answer is very simple. The reason is anti-Semitism. Of course, Soviet regime persecuted many national, religious, and social groups. As a founder of Helsinki Group and as a spokesman of this group, I had an opportunity to participate in preparing and publishing in the free world many documents about persecutions against Ukrainian nationals, about persecutions against Crimean Tatars, about persecutions against Pentecostals in Siberia, about persecutions against Catholic priests in Vilna. And it so happened that just under 1945, after 1945, Stalin and his assistants decided that the time had come to go after the Jews. And Jewish institutions were closed, and Jewish poets were arrested, tortured, and killed, and Jewish doctors were forced by tortures to confess that they're going to poison all the Soviet leaders. But the policy of the Soviet Union, the policy of discrimination of Jews, demonization of Jews and Jewish state continued almost until the end of the Soviet Union. So those who are trying to encourage hate towards Jews are not interested simply to show, to remind where it can take the world. That what starts from Jews is not finished with Jews. How it can destroy all the beginnings of civil society. How it can create new Holocaust. And this connection between anti-Semitism and denial of Holocaust, that's what makes it so actual today. Because today the world is different. As exactly now it was said, thanks God there is no Nazi Germany. There is no Soviet communist regime. And there is the state of Israel, the best guarantor of the continuity of Jewish people. But anti-Semitism on the rise, in the East and the West, on the left and the right. And whether it is anti-Semitism of the leaders of the Iranian regime, who openly speak about the world without Israel, or whether it is the anti-Semitism of the extremists in France or in the United States who are attacking synagogues in Toulouse and in Halle and in Pittsburgh and in Brooklyn, or whether it is anti-Semitism of the so-called academicians, professors, who are again speaking that Zionism is racism and that Jewish national state is illegitimate. They all are denying Holocaust, or reshaping Holocaust, or cheapening it. And that is why it is so important for us. That's why I'm so proud to be the chairman of this Memorial Center of Babyn Yar. Yes, it is a very ambitious plan, because we want to turn the place which is the symbol of the erasing of the memory of Holocaust, to turn it into the biggest museum about Holocaust by bullets, to become the biggest research center, and educational center. And that's why we are so grateful to Ukrainian parliament who passed legislation against anti-Semitism, a very powerful one. And that's why we are so grateful to Ukrainian president and to all his team for close cooperation. In fact, only yesterday when I said to one of these people from President Zelensky's team that thank you for your support of our project, he was almost insulted. He said, what? It is not our project. I immediately agreed. It has to be Jewish and Ukrainian project. It is very important for Jews, for our history, to know what happened here. It is very important for Ukraine to be the leading nation in Europe among those who are looking at the past, frankly speaking about the past, and building the future. Dear friends, just in these days, I think 2 days ago, we published the list of 159 Nazis who were killing Jews and other people in Babyn Yar. In the last months, we brought more than 1,000 names of the victims who were killed in Babyn Yar. And we are going to bring the names of those who were supporting Nazis. And the Nazis could never kill so many Jews so quickly if they were not finding help from the local supporters. And no less important, and maybe the most important, we are going to continue to increase this unique list of now more than 2,600 Ukrainian families, priests and peasants and teachers who are risking the life of their own children by saving Jews. It is very important that the Holocaust will have the faces and that everybody will be reminded that even when you go through the valley of death, you're making moral choices. Our sages say, the one who saves one person saves the whole world. I would say for our situation, it means that it depends on the personal moral decision of each of us, whether our world will be saved or destroyed. And to the victims, to those people who were brought and thrown here in the raven of Babyn Yar and killed, we can say only, blessed be their memory, Yeh zichram baruch, Am Yisrael Chai. Дякую.